Okay, here we go. Hey, everybody. For everybody that just hopped on, hello. My name is Jordan Splinter. I'm a presidential diamond, and I'm so excited to be interviewing our newest Emerald and bonus earner, Emily Ransom, tonight. She is one of my girls that I have adopted into my arms. She's in my downline, and I'm just love working with her and love running alongside her and just seeing the awesome things that she does. And I'm just really excited for you guys to get to hear from her and just really get to hear a little bit more of her heart. I know we've had her on a Zoom in the past, but I feel like just since then, Emily has grown so much. She got to come to our house for the live conference watch party a couple weeks ago, and just getting that time with her then and just getting to know her heart a little bit more. I'm just, like I said, really excited for you guys to just hear from her, hear her tips. We're going to be talking about struggles. We're going to talk about what it looks like to hit promotions, to get those bonuses, the good things and the bad things, because it's not always good, right? Like, we got to know that there's ups and downs in the business so that they don't freak us out when they come along the way, right? So okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. I'm going to let Emily hop on here and just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you found this business and how long that you have been in. And just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, so I'm super nervous. Jordan did not send me any questions ahead of time, just so you'll know. So this is all going to be off the cuff. Probably going to cry because I've just been like all day. So I am Emily Ransom. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We have 3 kids. I actually had my third after I started this business. So she's like 8 months old now. But I've been in the business right at a year. I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary on February 6th. And I found the business in kind of like it's like a long, short story, I guess. But I left my teaching job and just really felt like God was calling me to something different, calling me to stay home with my kids. And I knew that I was going to have some kind of a second income because we had always been a 2-income family. And I actually started my own digital marketing business before coming to It Works. So that was a huge flop. I made no money. I was completely alone in it. I spent a ton of money on a digital marketing course. It was like just this big business venture that everyone in my life was so excited for me. And they were like, oh my gosh, how's Ransom marketing? How's that going? Yeah, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And I was like trying to put myself on as this really successful business executive. And I'd never even been in like the corporate world. I'd been a teacher. Like, I didn't have any marketing connections, but I learned a lot. But it was just bizarre because here I was like posting on social media every day as this marketing professional, and I had no clients. I had 0. And so meanwhile, like, I'm delivering groceries for Shipped. Our finances are getting worse and worse. I'm selling stuff on Etsy. I am doing all the things, selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, flipping furniture. And I'm giving you guys like the long version because I've told part of my story before, but I want, like, I don't know, maybe somebody's going to resonate with a different part of it. Basically, I'm just looking for like any and every way to make a little bit of money working from home. I did copy editing. I did it all. I was looking for anything because I knew that I could not pay anybody to stay with my kids. I wouldn't be making a profit if I was doing that. And then, it got really bad, and we met with our pastor and we were like, okay, our marriage is suffering. We can't pay our mortgage. Our air conditioning just went out and we can't pay to fix it because we can't even pay our mortgage. So how are we going to fix our air conditioning? And y'all, we live in South Carolina. So it was hot, and it was just really bad. Like, our phones were getting cut off. We were still not telling any of our friends and family how bad we were struggling. But I was literally like, I would sell a piece of home decor or whatever on Facebook for $20. And then I would use that to go like buy groceries or gas. That's how bad it was. And we were just literally surviving, paying the bills that we needed to like keep the lights on. And, we met with our pastor and we're like, okay, things are really bad. And they said, well, Emily, you need to go back to teaching. You need to get a job. This is not good. And it just wasn't that simple because since I left teaching, the cost of our daycare had actually gone up it would have been $1,200 a month for just 2 kids. We were pregnant with our third by then, who was a surprise. So I wouldn't have even profited after going back to teaching. I wouldn't have had enough to even cover daycare. So I was like desperate for a solution. And I know that Brittany always says, I was crying out for a solution, crying out to Jesus. I literally was. I was up at night. I had so much anxiety. I could not sleep. I would like go in my living room at night and just get on my knees and at my coffee table and pray because I did not know what to do. And I became friends with my enroller on Instagram, just like really naturally, actually. She would ask me questions about like, oh, hey, your kid's not going down for a nap. Like neither is mine. We just like started our friendship really, really naturally. I just liked her a lot. I trusted her and I would see her post about coffee, but it was not anything in my mind, like about what she was doing. I just liked her as a person. And I forgot to mention this, but I was like, during this time, I was like very anti MLM. So in the digital marketing world that I was in, it was like this thing where you were like better than people who did MLMs. And like, that was obnoxious. And that was like, I just had this really negative connotation. I'd been asked to do a lot of other ones before. I'd been pushed. I mean, it was just crazy, like how much I didn't understand about it. And it's crazy that I thought that I was better than that, but I had 0 clients in my other business. Like I was so prideful. Meanwhile, I'm not even able to pay my phone bill or keep the lights on or pay my mortgage. Yet I think that I'm better than doing something. I mean, what is that? Like, but I think that God truly had to bring me to like a place of humility until I would have been ready to do something like this. So because that's like how prideful I was. So anyways, became friends with my enroller on Instagram, and she is actually no longer in the business. Jordan mentioned that she adopted me, and I'm very thankful that she did. But anyway, I hosted a post for her. For my enroller, it was like a Target giveaway, and I'm like, well, why not? Like I could use $500 to Target right now. And so she had me put up a story slide, and it said social media marketing position, and I was like, huh, what's that? Like, I'm literally doing social media marketing. I'm just incredibly unsuccessful at it. I'm like really sucking at it. I have no clients and I think I understand what to do. I just am broke. And so I asked very few questions, which was not like me. I'm kind of a skeptic, but I was just like, well, I'm desperate. God, I feel like you've put this opportunity in front of me. I'm going to walk through this door. And, at first I didn't, even know what I had gotten myself into. Like I remember my first call with like just our small team and my enroller explaining a chart. And I'm like, oh gosh, there's me. There's 3 people under me. What have I done? That like, this is not what I wanted. But I just was like, I've got to make it work because we're desperate. And so during this time, we actually got to pay off our mortgage using our tax return, which was like only a God thing that even covered it. Pay off our past due balance, sorry, not our like whole mortgage. So the way that the timing of all this coincided was I was on the phone like weekly with this mortgage lender person who was talking to me about, how our plans to keep the house, and we could either declare bankruptcy, we could do a short sale, which means like you would just take whatever the house was worth that the bank declared, all this crap. And he told us, even if you pay off the past due amount, we're not confident that you guys can still keep up with the monthly payment because quite frankly, your like income to expenses ratio is just it's not going to work. You don't have enough money to make this mortgage payment. So I joined wanting to go diamond in 3 months, wanting that $15,000 bonus. I joined wanting to make $1,000 a month because that is what we needed to get like to a comfortable position where we could pay all of our bills. We could pay our mortgage comfortably, like just wanting to pay bills. And the timing of that, like, I think that call was maybe days or if not the day before I joined. I mean, it was just an incredible God thing. Pretty quickly realized that it was a very natural fit, like just, posting once I got a customer or posting, just the whole thing felt very natural to me. I just felt like I could be myself right from the beginning. Fell in love with just the Christian faith-based aspect. Like the other world that I was in, I felt so weird. I was like, where is God in all this? I feel like all this law of attraction stuff is great, but like, where is the talk about the one who really makes everything happen? It was just bizarre. And looking back on it, it's like, I feel like I was a different person then. But anyway, I think it was like a month in that I realized I'm in this for the long haul. Like, I would get off calls, and I still do. I would get off calls and trainings, and I would be so like full of adrenaline. And I would text my enroller and I'm like, I can't sleep. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to just like run and get this bonus and like just for this next month. And I mean, I was like in love. And I still am in love. Like, the more that I learn about It Works, I just like know that God has me here for a reason, and just feel thankful, thankful, thankful every single day that He humbled me to a place where I would have been even open to something like this. And not only was I open to it, but now I'm like, why would anyone not do network marketing? Like, this is incredible. So that is my very long-winded tale, but that's kind of how I found it. And it's just been better than anything I ever thought. It's been the biggest surprise. It's just been the best.
Wow. Wow. I put this in the comments already, but I know that so many people can relate to the details that you shared. And I love that you went into a more extended version of your story, because that is where we're able to really like touch people's hearts when we get transparent and open and vulnerable about where we've been. And I never knew that you were anti MLM. I was laughing when you said that. I was like, really? But what an impactful thing that you mentioned, though, that God had to bring you to such a place of humbleness and take away so much of your pride. Like, nobody wants to ever go through those things, right? Like, we experienced a lot of those same things, but like it stinks in that moment. But the story that you have and the impact that you have because of that, that God said, okay, like we got to get you here so that you see, so that we can shift and start like impacting lives because of your journey to here. Like, that's just so impactful. um Thank you for sharing those things. I know that everybody on here is just like, their hearts are just melting right now, because I know that mine is. So I want to jump in and talk a little bit about just kind of your journey in the business. And one thing I want to note to you guys, we mentioned when we first got started that Emily promoted to Emerald last night, which is so incredible. And we'll get into this a little bit later too. But for those of you thinking that maybe these bonuses or your promotion is too far away, and Emily, I hope you don't care that I'm sharing this, but her last paid rank was executive, you guys. That's not her highest paid rank, but where she was last month to where she ended last month, she was able to go from executive to Emerald. And I want you guys to keep that in mind as she's sharing these things, because we've all hit promotions and lost ranks and re-ranked and had like up and downs along the way. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So let's talk a little bit about like the struggles and the setbacks in your business. So you mentioned when you got started and you got that vision a month in and you're like, okay, this is it. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. You know, you're like, let's do this. You're texting your enroller. Oh my gosh, I'm so fired up. But what did it look like along the way for you when you would have those moments of like, oh, this is it? Or these months of like, oh, this is it? And then it wasn't like exactly what you were expecting. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I want to say a couple things, and I don't know if like I'm going to be uh, jumping ahead to any of your like other questions or anything, but the first thing I want to say is that I did not have a super supportive network getting started. And I mentioned that like when I started my previous venture, everyone was like, oh my gosh, we're so excited for you. We love what you're doing. And then it was like, I started this and it was like crickets. I mean, my mom and sister took 10 months to become customers, if that tells you anything. So my first thing would be, if you don't feel like the excitement from the people who are like your people and they're supposed to rally around you, just go find people who will be excited and support you. Because I literally meet the nicest people through Host to Post all the time. They're like, oh, I would love to help you out. And I'm like, you don't even know me. This is crazy. So like, it's just wild how sometimes people who know you or people who are total strangers like have an easier time supporting you than your than your friends and family. So, and I think a lot of us like in this business have found that to be true, but I just want to say that. And the other thing I want to say is I would get all fired up, but at the same time, I was still really prideful. And I just thought, well, posting 3 to 6 times a day, I don't need to, I don't need to actually do that. Like I can just post once a day or posting every day. I don't need to post every day. And I felt like I was going to annoy people. And I felt like I was going to, like, like it was going to be embarrassing. I don't know. I still just had a lot of pride. And I eventually got to this place, I guess, and so I went, it took me 4 months to go Ruby. I went executive after 3 months and Ruby after 4. And then in my 5th month, I took my husband Ruby. And that was the month that we had our baby, but I was like pretty much just riding the momentum from my 4th month. But anyway, I worked really hard. I was like, okay, well, if they say to get up 10 host to post a day, I guess I need to actually do that. Like I actually put into action what they're telling us to do on these calls every week. And I went Ruby, and then kind of life got really busy. I mean, my third daughter has been like a challenge. We thought we knew like everything about parenting, and she's really kind of put us through the ringer about baby stuff. So it's been up and down. And like Jordan mentioned, I mean, I've lost rank. Like I'll be Ruby, then I'll be executive, then like I'm Ruby, but my husband's executive. It's just changed a lot. And I have been so close to promoting multiple times. Like when I promoted to executive the first time, I already had the Ruby volume. I just didn't have it in the right places. And in October, I was so close to Emerald, called or messaged Jordan the next day. And I was just like, I'm bummed. Like I'm super bummed. And I had like my whole network cheering for me and I still didn't promote. And that was kind of embarrassing. And then in November, I was super close again, like stayed up till 1 a.m. just staring at eSuite. I'm like, please, please, God, like just work a miracle. But he can't work with what we won't do. And so eventually, like, I guess by October, by then I'm like, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. I don't care if I'm posting too much. I don't care if I'm annoying. Like I am going to do exactly what everyone is telling me to do. 10 hosts to post a day, posting about coffee in the morning, a sample every single day, another product in the afternoon, my story at night. And I don't get it perfect every day. I mean, I'm preaching to myself when I say this because none of us do 100% of what we could do for our business every day. We all have areas for improvement. But I finally just said, okay, I guess I'm just going to have to do my whole KPI list every single day and just see where that gets me. Or I guess I'm just going to have to do it all twice. Like I'm going to have to put the work in. And it was super disappointing missing out on some of those bonuses because I've missed out on like several different things that have been offered and they would get extended and then I'd still miss it and then they'd get extended again and I would be like still bummed that I was not progressing. And I mean, I really thought I was going to go diamond in 3 months and I'm emerald and I'm at a year, but I'm okay with that now because I understand like the process that I had to go through to grow and to actually just be a humble. I feel like that word keeps coming up and I guess the Holy Spirit's just putting it on my heart because I haven't thought of it until today really, but just humbling myself to be like, all right, I thought that I knew everything about marketing, but I need to grow my network the way they're telling me to. Or I thought that I was a great customer enroller, but I need to actually get the host to post up that they're telling me to. And so if you're on here tonight and you're like kind of half in, like I'm doing, maybe 3 of my KPIs every day, but I'm not going to do it all. I mean, that's like a lot of work. Like I can't possibly do it. Just find a way to get it done. And every time that I would miss a promotion, I'm just like, no, I'm doing this like with or without anybody else. I'm deciding. I told y'all I was like desperate when I started this and I decided immediately that it had to work. I just, for some reason thought like that this is my bottom line. You're not going to promote if you're not doing the things that the top leaders are telling you to do. Success leaves clues. Do what they tell you to do. They are making it so duplicatable for us. And even if it takes you a while, like, so I was all the way bought in October about, okay, I'm doing my full KPIs, I'm doing all the things, but it still took me, so that was 4 months ago, it still took me 4 more months to actually promote. Like, if you're putting in the consistency and the time and doing what they're telling you to do, it is eventually going to come. And I have grown so much through that process. And I just have like this whole new level of confidence now. I'm like, no, I'm not really worried about when I go diamond, because I know that it's going to happen at the time that God has already prepared for me. He's already laid out this path. And I think I've completely gotten sidetracked from your original question, but let me know if I need to be reined
No,
back
this
in.
is
I don't even know.
perfect. No, this is perfect. That's exactly what I was asking, just about like the struggles and the ups and downs. And one thing you said, I made a note while you were talking that it reminded me of, for anybody that caught the training last week, that who interviewed when Kim Kane was interviewed. Sorry, I had her name in my head and then I lost it. And I'm totally paraphrasing, but she basically said it's not the people that like get somewhere quick that inspire people. Like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. Like, most of the time, the people that are like straight to the top ASAP, their foundation isn't very strong. Like, that crumbles. But it's the people who it takes them longer, and like that struggle is there, and they have to like really grow here to be able to get to those higher places. That is the people who inspire the masses, like those times where you would message me and say like, man, I'm bummed, like I thought I had it and I missed it, like those are, even though they stink, those are the moments, and those are that is the characteristic of somebody who inspires other people, because you didn't give up during that. And I know that again is speaking to every single person on this Zoom. Like, and if it's not, then you're not listening. So just stop what you're doing and listen to what Emily's saying. So one other question that I have for you, a couple other ones actually, but these two kind of go hand in hand, so I'll ask them at the same time. One is, what pushed you to hit your promotion in January? And then going along with that, because I already know part of the answer with the bonus, and that is, when the bonus was announced, what went through your mind with that? So what went through your mind with the bonus when that was announced for you, and what was it that made you just decide and actually go enrolled in January?
Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't find the unmute thing. So, oh wait, what was the first question? I remember the second one, but not the first one.
What went through your mind when you heard the Emerald bonus announced? And then what was it that pushed you to promote in January?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I guess when they announced the $5,000 Emerald bonus, because like I said, I joined when there was the $15,000 Diamond one. And then there was an $8,000 one. I can't remember if that was Emerald or Diamond, but I think it was Diamond. And like, I realize in hindsight that even if I had promoted to Emerald in October when I was so close, that doesn't necessarily mean that I would have been Diamond immediately the next month. So like, I may not have still gotten that. Sorry, this light is like really bothering me. I'm trying to cover it with my hair. But yeah, when they announced the Emerald bonus, I'm like, I'm too close not to get that. I'm ridiculously close. Like, I think I even already had the group volume. I just needed the, everything in the right places, like with the people under me and my teammates and stuff. And yeah, I basically just claimed it. And I told my husband, I'm like, this is mine. I am not missing this again. And maybe it just got to the point where I was like, just had to kick myself in the butt a little bit. Like, if you haven't read It Takes What It Takes, it's definitely like, okay, get up and kick yourself in the pants type thing. Like, just do it, whatever it takes, get the job done. And like, just full steam ahead. You have to make sacrifices. I mean, my husband and I are both like, thankfully he's been very supportive, but I'm like, babe, the dishes are going to be in the sink this month. The kids are going to watch a lot of TV. I mean, I don't like that, but I understand that what I'm doing right now is an investment for them. And it's it's an investment of time so that we can have freedom of time later. And yeah, I guess when the $5,000 was announced, I was like, well, there's just no way I'm not getting that. I have to. I just told myself, you have to. You're doing it. It doesn't matter what anyone else on your team is doing. Like, quit complaining, quit like just thinking that you're not going to get it. I mean, all the stuff about just belief and faith and hard work, it all works together. You can't have the belief and not work hard. You can't work hard and not have the belief, because then you're going to get burned out. Like, it's got to be the whole package, and just like staying in self-development. Hopefully I
That's so
answered
good.
the question.
Yeah, I was typing it. I thought you were still talking. That's so good. Like, you
No,
can't
that's
have
it.
one without the other. They have to go together. That is such a good point. Um, how did it feel when you hit it? What went
I
through your head
cried.
last night?
Yeah, I cried, and I've teared up like multiple times today. And I just also want to say thank you, like, for y'all's encouragement and stuff, because just the shout outs like in the chats and in Fire Tribe has been so sweet. And like, this community is it's just amazing. And if you haven't experienced the community aspect yet, like, reach out to somebody, a sideline, an upline, a downline, like somebody that you can link arms with, because that's just been so fun. um it still feels surreal a little bit. And I I'm just thankful. I'm really thankful that God has put this in my path. And like, tomorrow it's back to my next goals. And I've already talked to Jordan about, like, I've got really big goals ahead, and for what I want to do in February and from now on. But just taking a second, like, every win that you have, just thank God. Thank you for that customer. Thank you for that 25 VV customer. Like, take nothing for granted. And he's just so good to have put this into my lap at a time that I didn't expect. And even though I joined for a bonus, I still can't believe that I actually did ever earn one. You know what I mean? Like, it just still seemed like, well, other people can do that, but not me. I mean, um, I don't know where we get this idea in life that, like, other people can have things, but not us. Or, well, that's great for them to have money, but like, we're just going to be poor forever. I mean, we were a cop and a teacher. We would literally say, like, yeah, we're just going to be broke forever. And I'm just thankful. God is, my word for 2020 was abundant. And it's kind of funny, like, looking back at how 2020 went, a lot of people would say, like, that it's the worst year ever, like, that there was a lack of a lot of things, that we have like this scarcity mindset in our society. But for us, it was a year of a lot of abundance, abundant growth, abundant, like, restoration in our marriage, and like, just the abundance of community, and yes, money that we've earned, and that we've been able to have in the last year. It's just blessings upon blessings upon blessings. And if you haven't experienced that yet, like, stick with it. Just tell yourself giving up is not an option, because he's truly all over this business. And it's just undeniable. That's crazy.
I love that so much. That's so good. I'm like, just taking in everything that you're saying. I'm like, just keep talking. Just keep saying that. I love that you just briefly talked about how basically, like, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Like, you decided that things were going to be better. You spoke it, you believed it, and you put the work in, and you went for it, whether it was in your marriage, your business, your family, like your faith, whatever it is. I love that. And when at the conference thing that we had at our house, I was actually talking with Claire Flores about that. Like, when we look back on 2020, a lot of people saw that as like such a terrible year. And yes, it was like a lot of really like horrid things for so many people. People lost family members, lost their jobs. Like, there were a lot of really hard things that I couldn't even scratch the surface on. I fully acknowledge that. But at the same time, it was such an amazing year of like just being intentional with things, and being intentional about like putting your focus in the right places instead of being so distracted like all the time. So I know that's a little bit off the side of what we were talking about, but it made me think about that, and just how when we make that decision to see the positive things, or when we make that decision to go for that promotion or go for that bonus or do our KPIs daily or whatever it is, that decision that you make and speaking it out loud, like there is power in that. And there's accountability in that too. So I saw a lot of people saying in the chat, like, find yourself a sideline sister. That is so true, you guys. Like, if you feel like you're walking in your business alone, then you need to just take a step back and reach out to somebody and ask for that help, because we have such a big community here that if you are feeling that aloneness, that shouldn't be there. Like, there's somebody who is ready and willing to walk beside you and cheer you on, and in the chats and all the things, like plug into those places, because it does make it that much sweeter when you do hit those promotions. Everybody's shouting out Emily today and congratulating her. It like warmed my heart seeing that, like, wow, and maybe people that you don't even realize are cheering you on. Like, all we can use all the positivity, right? Like, no space for negativity. Like, take in all the positive that you can and keep those people so close to you. So okay, as we're closing out, you've said so many good things and so many good nuggets, but if you have just one last piece of advice that you can give to people who are looking at these bonuses and running for them, what is your biggest piece of advice that you have for them?
As you were talking, I thought of something and now I don't know what it was. So I may have to, I don't know, go in Fire Tribe and put it in the comments of this or something. I'm trying to think of what it was, but my mind went blank. I'm so sorry.
No, that's totally fine. Well, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on here tonight. Emily, we are so stinking proud of you. You hit that bonus, you hit that promotion, you got that bonus, and I'm just so excited to see what this next month has for you and forward. And I'm just so excited to see how your story impacts so many people throughout the team and everybody that's going to watch us in the future too. So thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, if you think about whatever it was, go ahead and just put it in the comments. The thing that happens to me all the time. But we love you guys. Thank you for hopping on, and we will talk to y'all later. Bye.